So you've spent the past 3 weeks working on your Atlas EX weapon, you finally got it, and then you realized in yesterday's patch notes that everyone's getting it for free. So now you're questioning yourself, you're going, should I even bother going for the Trailblazer weapon? Well, in today's video, we're going to be talking about that. But first of all, if you're new to the channel, I upload PSO2 content daily, so if you do play this game, please consider subscribing as we are really close to my goal of 20,000 subscribers. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first question that I want to answer straight off the bat is it worth getting your Trailblazer weapon? And I would say yes. The reason for that is because all of these materials over here you can get with Rising Weapon Badge 4s. And if you guys remembered, we're basically swimming in Rising Weapon Badge 4s. You can get all 4 of these weapons with your Rising Weapon Badge 4s, just exchange them. You'll be able to get the Void Fragments in the new Urgent Quest, which is coming out soon. And the Profound Katana or whatever Profound weapon you want, you can also get it from Ziggs with the Void Fragments. So there's essentially no RNG involved in order to get your Starquake weapon. And then in order to make the Trailblazer weapon, it's even easier. You just need your Starquake weapon, 400 X cubes, and the Founder's Amphitrite, which you already have from the mission pass. So yes, making the katana is definitely worth it. However, here's the tricky part, and that is the weapon's augment factor. If you look at its augment factor, it gives you S1 melee amp. And this ability is extremely strong. However, in order to maximize its potential, you need to hit 200 power, which is very difficult to get unless you have 8 slots on your weapon. And getting an 8 slot weapon is very difficult because you have to upslot them, and upslotting is a pain in the butt and very expensive. So the reason you want to get 200 power is because instead of increasing your melee potency by 1% every 60 power you have, it increases to 2% every 60 power you have, which essentially gives you 6% more potency instead of 3%. So you know, for a lot of people that might not sound like a big deal. You'll be like, yeah, whatever, I'll just stick with 3% instead of 6%. But for those who want to min-max, just keep in mind this will cost a lot. It's very expensive and very difficult to get. I'll show you my recipe at the end of the video, as well as how much Meseta I've already spent getting all those pieces. But if you're a casual player and you don't have 100 million Meseta or more, then I recommend making the Trailblazer weapon but using it as a PP battery. The reason for that is because the Trailblazer's potential over here is extremely strong. Photon Resurrection. Potency increases by 10%, and when PP falls below a certain threshold, PP recovers fully and potency increases by 3% more for a set time. So what you would do is stick with your Atlas EX weapon or whatever your strong weapon is, burn through all your PP, switch to the Trailblazer weapon so that its potential kicks in, immediately recovers your PP to full, and then switch back to your Atlas EX or whatever your main weapon is. So you'd have this weapon in your inventory with 4 slots or 6 slots or whatever you're comfortable with, and you would just use it as a PP battery. And I recommend most players, like 90% of you guys, to just use the Trailblazer as a PP battery because one, you're going to be saving a ton of Meseta since you don't care about what augments the weapon has. You're literally just using the weapon for its potential, so you don't need to augment at all, you don't need to upslot, and you're just going to save a ton of Meseta, a ton of headache across the board. But let's say you're in the 10% or even the 1% which wants to max out their Trailblazer weapon because you want to capitalize on its full potential. Then it's going to be a little bit difficult because what you want to do is you're going to need your Trailblazer weapon to have 8 slots. The reason for that is because 3 of the slots are going to be taken by the S abilities, so S1, S2, and S3. That leaves you with 5 augment slots to get your power to 200. So let's hop over to my second monitor and I'll show you the end result of what will give me 200 power. So over here you guys can see that I've got a whole bunch of different fodder pieces. However, what's most important is going to be the details over here. You can see with this setup over here, I will be losing some defense, so melee defense, range defense, and tech defense. But I will get 200 melee power, which is the thing that I care about, as well as 5 PP. I'd like more PP, but it gets a little bit too expensive and a little bit too complicated for me, so I decided to go with these augments. I have Modulator, which is an SAF, which means it's 100% chance of success. I will be using Might 5 instead of Might 6. I know you can get an SAF of Might 6, but just thinking about upslotting more weapons just gives me a headache and I don't want to deal with that. Then I'm going with Apprentice Soul, Persona Reverie, and Grace Might. So the most expensive part of my setup over here is the Might 5s, because I needed to buy 5 8-slot weapons with Might 5, because I needed 3 weapons over here to put it into my base weapon, which is my Trailblazer weapon, and then I need an additional 2, so that's a total of 5. And then the second most expensive thing for me is the Grace Might, because Grace Might right now is like 33 million-ish, so I had to buy that. So just from those 2 pieces alone, I'm looking at like 40 mil, almost 50 mil, and then I had to buy all the other pieces. So this grand total of this recipe cost me around 60 million. So, you know, it's a lot of Meseta for very minimum gain, you know, just that extra 3%. But that's because I'm planning to use a Trailblazer as my main weapon. As you guys can see right now, I'm still using an Ophistia weapon. It's alright, it gets the job done, it's a decent weapon, but I'm looking for the next big upgrade. That's why I'm dumping so many resources into this weapon, because I'm going to be sticking with this weapon for at least 3, 4, 5 months. So there will be better weapons than this that will come out. But I just decided that, hey, I really like the Trailblazer weapon, I like its potential, I like its S1 ability, so I'm going to be sticking with that weapon. However, let's say you already have 200 power on like your Atlas EX weapon. What you can do is you can make the Trailblazer weapon, rip off the S1 potential from the Trailblazer weapon and put it onto your Atlas EX weapon. Then you don't even need to upslot, you don't need to augment, you don't need to do anything with the Trailblazer weapon, and you can continue to just use it as a PP battery, and your Atlas EX weapon is going to benefit from that extra 6%, and you also have the Iron Will potential. So that's pretty insane, right? You're getting the extra damage, you're getting the Iron Will potential, and you can just stick with your Atlas EX weapon. So that is also an option that you guys can think about. However, again, even if you do stick with the Atlas EX weapon, you will need to try to hit that 200 power through augments in order to benefit from that 6%. If you don't, then you're only going to get 3%. Is it really that big of a deal? Really depends on your own playstyle and how you see things in game. If you're a min-maxer, yes, it matters a lot. If you're a casual player and you don't care about dealing tons of damage and you care more about saving Meseta for fashion and other things, then it doesn't really matter that much. Okay? I will be making a more in-depth video of me making my Trailblazer weapon as well as augmenting it. However, that'll have to wait until next week, as we will have the augmentation boost week as well as the new urgent quest, so I can farm up all the pieces. And you guys know my usual style. I like to show you guys what I do, show you guys what I did and the reasons I did it step by step. And that's why the breakdown today on how I'm going to be making my Trailblazer weapon was very, very general. You know, I just wanted to let you guys know that, hey, it's kind of expensive to get 8-slot weapons as well as it fully augmented in order to get the most out of that weapon. So that's really the point I want to get across. So if you guys don't have the Meseta, or if you're not comfortable investing so many resources into that weapon, then by all means just use it as a sub weapon, as a PP battery, as I said earlier. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the